Upgrades.
Hey, how you doing, Andre? My name is Samuel Legging with JVS Media Production. I just want to compliment you. Every role that you take, you completely immerse yourself into who the character embodies. Whether that's film like Moonlight or a series like Castle Rock. The recent Exhibiting Forgiveness, one of the better films I've seen this year. And now you're tackling Huey. And I wanted to kind of get your concept, kind of piggyback off what Nate just said, the emotional complexities of who Huey is and what he represents even lays a foundation now. And so I know that, you did your research as far as historics, you read his diaries, but more than anything, getting the understanding of tone, like the show has great tone, it has a great balance, but you and the way that you perform it is also very equally important because I think you're trying to convey something that's we can be able to gather here as who we are now as a people. And so I just wanted your perspective on that on an emotional level, what you invested in and what you think you're hoping for people to get from Huey Newton's life.
Oh man, what a great question. Thank you. And thank you for the compliment, man. I really, really, truly appreciate that. Like for real. Um, yeah, it's an interesting thing about acting, it's like I could talk for like an hour about this, but I'll keep it simple. I'll say this. Like there are certain things that I learned about Huey along the way that became very, very important to me. Things that I didn't know, right? For example, I didn't know that early in his life, uh, he was bullied, for example, and so I think that was a part of why he developed this sense of like bravado. Also, he was incredibly shy. Like I know we have this image of him as this like powerful, outspoken revolutionary, but the truth is, the brother was really, really shy. He hated public speaking. He hated being in public, in that way. Also, he learned to read like much later in life than like, not much later, but later in life as compared to some of his contemporaries. And so I imagine a person who isn't able to understand language, um, early on has to like organize the world or learn to organize the world in a particular kind of way, you know? So for me, what was important was, I wanted us to get the images, right? The like the wicker chair, the famous images and the field of power and the fervor of his commitment, all of which was true. But also I wanted to investigate and communicate uh, his like sensitivity, and like who he was on the inside, at least at the beginning, right? Before the image became sort of larger than the man. Um, that like at his core, you know, and at the beginning of the sort of inception of the party, it was, you know, they were about community programs, trying to get some kids breakfast before they went to school and trying to get people out of jail and get people access to education, all of which are things that I think most reasonable people would agree are important. So he did have a very complicated life and he caused some harm as well, a lot of harm in ways. But for me, it was important to communicate, um, yeah, the human being inside of this like image that we have of him. So I'm glad that you felt like some of that stuff came through, man. So thank you.
No, thank you, Andre.
Appreciate you.
Andre, Samuel Leggett here again. So my follow-up question is about like you getting the script, getting the part, and kind of realizing what the undertaking was. Like, what was that like? One, kind of like, oh wow, like I get an opportunity to tackle this. But then two, what did it take following through with that? Because I mean, I can imagine there had to be some challenges, whether it's on set, whether it's like timing, whether it's confliction with other movies. What was it like for you getting the role and then kind of working through it?
Yeah, it was probably um it's one of the hardest things I've ever done, for sure. Um, there was a movie that I was uh, attached to a number of years ago, in which I was supposed to play Huey P. Newton, and it was a totally different script, obviously, and it was about Elaine Brown, and it was a beautiful script, and I thought it was going to happen. It didn't come together in the end, and I mourned it because I thought, man, I really wanted to have a chance to play this part. So when I got this script, um, I was initially excited and honored, and then the fear started coming in because you realize like this is an iconic character. He's incredibly complicated. Um, some folks love him, some folks don't love him, and then also there's a lot of people who just don't know anything about him. So it was an enormous responsibility, and we shot over the course of like I think a little over 4 months. As I said, there were a lot of things that were happening in my personal life at the time too, which made being away from home really, really complicated. So it was a heavy lift, man. Like every day was a grind. And I hope that one day, I hope I get to do it again one day, because there's so much more to uncover, so much more to investigate. But yeah, it was definitely one of the like biggest challenges of my career for sure.
No, you did amazing, man. And I think you're going to get the fruit back from it. So congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. The story I'm about to tell you is how I, Huey P. Newton, the Black Panther Party founder, was set free into a prison. I envision a world beyond conflict and violence. I want to transform society. This is just the beginning. Talk about a star. That guy's a star.
Bird dig. Richard Pryor as Huey P. Newton in the Huey Newton story. Well, don't we look alike?
Not really.
The FBI has been pursuing Huey Newton for years. They saw the programs worked and change was happening.
We are trying to stop an enemy of the state.
A massive nationwide manhunt is now underway.
Where am I supposed to go?
You should check out Bird. He's willing to do whatever it takes.
They're expecting you at every crossing.
Hey, that's why I'm leaving the country.
You're gonna need disguises, transportation.
You're the hotshot producer, man. Produce this.
This is a dangerous idea.
I didn't know I was having company.
All right, listen up. We're gonna get Huey to Cuba in the next 48 hours.
And what we do is we make it look like it's one of your movies.
It's a location shoot as far as the feds are concerned. We got hair, makeup, wardrobe.
What movie are we talking about?
The Big Cigar.
I mean, I love The Big Cigar, man.
We need to secure a boat.
The Big Cigar is lit.
I am willing to fight with you because I believe in you.
We got company.
They must have followed somebody unless somebody told them where to go.
The FBI is gonna rain fire.
This is our lives, Bert.
Huey's fight is worth risking everything to do.
We're gonna beat the Beverly Hills 7, man.
They call you that after you're arrested.
Filing out the top of